What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Playbook Sports Podcast. It is draft week, so you know it's time for us to all get out our final mock drafts as we are competing for some prize or for someone to not lose. Still working on that part. You got Cephs just recently. You've seen Sage. Now it's time for Bob's. Bob, how the heck are you, man?
Pretty good, man. I'm getting excited. It'll be a great time going up to Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, week from now we'll know who everyone's taken at this point, or pretty dang close to it. So,
Yeah.
um, this is when hopes and dreams are running rampant before the season starts. So it's always a very optimistic time of the year. And after the draft, everyone, is either winners or losers, but it doesn't really matter till they hit the field. But
Bingo.
um, yeah, one of
Absolutely.
my favorite times of the year for sure. So I love watching tape after you see who you draft and
Yep.
just thinking about what could be. So,
Talking yourself into them being an
oh, for
all-pro
sure.
player immediately.
Yeah,
Immediately, they're the best on the field. 100%.
absolutely.
Yes. Alrighty. Well, I think we jump right into this. I've got the PFF mock draft simulator fired up and ready to go. I said this with Colin. I'm going to say it with you. I mean, pick one. You can pencil this in, right? This is obvious.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talked about it. I think we were on it pretty dang early as well.
Yep.
Really love this guy coming out. I think he's got a lot of special talent.
Mm.
Can Tennessee put it together? But give me Cam Ward 1-1. I think that's about as good of a lock as you're going to see with this upcoming draft. And after here, may see some stuff change, but I think Cam Ward's the consensus number one for a very good reason. And I think the Titans team definitely needs someone at quarterback that can really be there for 10 years plus. They've had a
Yep.
lot of turnover there, so hopefully this cements that for them. So
Yes. Yeah, man. It's been a while since we've had like a great Titans quarterback, man. Like what? Like Steve McNair,
yeah, Will
maybe?
Levis. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
Bingo. You're right. My bad. I forgot they had him. Man, what a star.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I
so I
think
love
Cam
that pick
Ward.
by him.
Yeah, I think that's 100%. I don't even want to spend too much time on that. He's just the
Yeah,
best quarterback. It's a team that desperately needs a quarterback. It's a great marriage. I think that's just a slam dunk.
100%.
Cleveland, pick number two. Where you got them going?
Yeah, I got them taken at this point. I personally would enjoy to see them take a quarterback, but I don't think any are worthy of this pick. So give me Travis Hunter, a guy that can bring a lot of eyes, a lot of excitement to the team. I know a lot of people have him as the number one player in this draft. It will be interesting to see if he does play both sides of the ball, or if they do decide to stick him at either wide out or corner. I hope he's more of that wide receiver role, and can really blossom into a cornerback as well when they need him to be. But we'll see. But I do think he's an extremely talented player, great
Yeah,
ball skills. And like I said, I think he brings some excitement to Cleveland, who desperately needs it. So
absolutely agree. Yeah, I think the further we get into this and the closer we get to it, I really do see him as probably wide receiver first, just because of what I was talking to Colin about in his mock draft. Like receivers, the highest paid receivers making $40 million a year. The highest paid corners,
yeah,
Derek Stingley, in the 20s. It's like, okay, the NFL values receivers more. Travis Hunter can be elite at either one, probably not at both. It'd be very impressive, and I'm not going to rule it out entirely, but very unlikely for him to be elite at both of those positions. So I say you go all in on wide receiver because that's where the value is. So make him the elite wide receiver that can play when you're in your dime packages. You can stick him out at corner and say, hey, you're going to play in man coverage against this dude. You don't have to think too hard about this. Just cover him, and he could do a really good job at it.
absolutely. And I think he's going to be an elite player on either way he goes.
Yeah.
I know I watched Steve Smith talking about hopefully he does pick a side so that way he can really develop
Yeah.
the small things that make a huge difference.
Yes.
You don't just want to be good at both. You want to be elite at one thing. So that'd be my hope for him. If he does play both and is elite, more power to him. Just never seeing that before. It will be interesting to see if he's able to do that, especially competition levels better, bigger players you're playing against, and it's a lot more physical game than the college level as well. So,
Yes.
seeing his body can hold up when he does want to play both sides. So
Right. And more games per season, more snaps per game on average, too. It's something that would be
100%.
really hard to hold up for, man. Really hard to hold
100%.
up. Um, Giants on the clock here at pick number three.
Yeah, pick three. I think this is kind of where the draft could start to get a little bit interesting. I'm gonna go Abdul Carter though. I could very well see them using Thibodeau to try to trade back into this draft, get another player. They do already have a very, very good O line, or excuse me, D line.
Yeah.
I think this adds to it. Obviously, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence. This is just another guy, and once again, I know I think you really be able to utilize other players you have on the defensive line as pieces to use for trade. I think Abdul Carter is just a special player. that'll really help cement them as having one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. So,
Yep, I completely agree. This was Collins, the start Colin put together too. I think Abdul Carter, like, if you hear complaining, like, oh man, we've got Brian Birds and Kayvon Thibodeau, I do not care. I'm sorry. Kayvon Thibodeau's only got what, one more year under contract before then you have to up his fifth year option. He's been
yep.
okay, but
Yep.
Abdul Carter has unlimited potential.
Yeah, and I could really see Thibodeau, like I said, getting traded. Obviously, edge is a very important position.
Hmm.
I could really see them utilizing him, especially with his contract coming up to try to get, some future draft capital, whether it be in this
Yeah.
draft or the next ones. And I think he could be a good player for a team, but you get Carter along with Burns. I think you have really, really elite edge players, especially in
Yes.
that division. You definitely need it. And Abdul Carter's able to chase down the quarterback at a very high level. And I think he's really untapped potential as well. I think he's got huge, huge, huge upside.
Oh God,
I
yeah.
think his ceiling might even be the highest in this entire draft altogether. So,
Yes, completely agree with that take. Completely. He's just scratching the surface of what he can
yep,
be as an edge rusher. Truly, like Micah Parsons is a reasonable comp for him, in my opinion.
yep.
Patriots, this is where I would say the draft probably starts, is the
Yeah,
New England Patriots. I think the number one quarterback and the best two players in the draft. I think that they're the tier one. These guys are going first three picks. Whatever order you want, these are the first three picks. Patriots on the clock here at pick 4. Who you got them
yeah.
taking?
Yeah, and in my opinion, I have them taking the best offensive lineman in this class. In my opinion, give me Will Campbell. I love the mentality, attitude. I love his demeanor. I love everything about Will Campbell. I do not care about the arm length. As a Colts fan, Bernard Ryman has short arms. Never once when he's played, I've ever been like, man, his arms are just way too short to be productive. I think it's a little bit of an overblown thing.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think he brings that nastiness that especially a Vrabel-led team will really appreciate. And at the end of the day, the only reason the Patriots will be good in the future will be because of Drake May. You have to protect him at a very, very high level.
Yep.
I think this guy gives him that he has position flexibility if you need to move him to guard, but I really do think this guy can be your left tackle for the future, protect Drake May's blind side. And like I said, I think he's just got all the right makeup that Mike Vrabel will really appreciate, especially kind of starting with a little bit younger team.
Yeah.
I think he's a cornerstone piece for them. And in my opinion, he's the best offensive lineman in the draft. So.
Yeah, Will Campbell's got, and he's got like that positional flexibility is so important too. Like now you can choose, okay, what's the best guard we can get or the best tackle we can get and play Will Campbell at the other position and we're gonna be just fine. And yeah, protecting Drake May has to be the number one priority for the New England Patriots now. You think
I've
you
seen
got your guy.
Genty here. I
Uh-huh.
like Genty going there as well, but at the end of the day, who's he going to be running behind? You know what I
Right.
mean? So in my opinion, Will Campbell, a little bit safer pick. And like I said, I think that position flexibility as well just ensures that he's not going to be a bust in the league.
Hmm.
But I really do think he can be a stud tackle for him. So
Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna be real good. He's gonna be good. People are overthinking it, honestly, at
yeah,
this point. We're just overthinking it. Um,
100%.
Jaguars, pick 5. Who you got them taking?
Yeah, this is one I think we had very early on, still sticking with it. Give me Mason Graham,
Yep.
interior
Yep.
defensive tackle out of Michigan.
Easy.
I think they could go a few different ways here, but I think he has one of the lower floors in this draft. A guy that can come in and have production right away, and really help cement their interior defensive line as one of, you know what I mean? I think he's going to be there
Yep.
for a long time. And as a Colts fan, I don't love that, but
Yeah.
I think he's the most logical pick and really does add to that team a good bit. So,
Yeah, I find myself trying to be, trying to have some fun with them at pick number 5, and I just can't. It's got to be Mason Graham. They
mhm.
ignored the position in free agency, and their GM said, well, there's got to be somewhere for our rookies to play. It's okay. We get it. Mason Graham is really, really damn good. His shorter arm length, again, similarly to Will Campbell, shouldn't be a turn off to teams, man. This guy's an elite run defender that is still learning how to be a pass rusher from the interior. When he figures that out, watch out. And he will eat up double teams. And then you're freeing up Josh Allen Hines and Trayvon Walker for one-on-ones on the outside. That's going to be tough to stop.
And Walker did come on heavy this year too. I think this cements their defensive line as well.
Yeah.
So
Agreed. Agreed.
just a
Uh,
great pick.
yeah, absolutely. Vegas on the clock here. Are you taking a QB or what?
No, I'm not. I
Okay.
think, yeah, I know Gino's getting old. I just personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Shador.
Nope.
I just
Me
don't
neither.
see. I know he's accurate. I think he's got to play in a dome. Uh, Give me Ashton Genty.
Yeah.
Um, Excuse me, let me get a drink. But I think he's Genty, in my opinion, is one of my favorite players in this draft. Watching his Utah State film, there's a game he runs over like 4 or 5 dudes, breaks away, and scores a tie. It's just things like that happen, and it's like, man, he might look a little bit different how he runs than Saquon or these guys that are at the upper
Mm,
echelon of running back position. You saw how valuable it was this year with the Eagles. And I think Genty can provide an instant spark to that offense. Pete Carroll at his press conference was like, hey, don't talk about Genty.
yeah,
You know what I
shut
mean?
up. Don't
So
talk about him.
all roads lead to that. I know this is a deep running back class, but I think Genty really does separate himself as the best running back in this class. And honestly, in my opinion, he might be the best offensive player in this class, including Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
I think he can do it at a higher level. I don't think the competition is that big of a drawback at Boise State.
No.
I just think he's going to come in and produce at a very high level. So,
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And you can, I don't really care about the Raiders offensive line, even if
yeah.
whatever you think about them. Like, I think they're going to be just fine. They got Jackson
Yeah.
Powers Johnson last year. They're moving to center. They've got Colton Miller at left tackle.
Yeah.
Like, you've got pieces.
Yeah. I think they actually played for the names that they had last year. I think they actually played pretty well.
Yeah.
And I think Pete Carroll continued to put them in positions to win. And,
Yeah.
giving Geno Smith the contract that you did, you really got to help him out as well. Obviously, you saw it when the Seahawks were so successful. It was having Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. I think Genty just gives you a reliable guy, who can generate yard. And when he was at Boise State, every single team was just trying to stop him and they couldn't
Yeah.
do it. He
And they
almost
still
broke
couldn't
Barry
do it.
Sanders' record. He was getting pulled from games early. Like the
Yeah.
talent is just so immense for me that it's very hard for me to see him going any further than this in the draft. So
Yeah. I mean, he had 375 carries and he averaged practically 7 yards a carry. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
just give him the ball.
Just, yeah, give him the football
Just,
and you're going to be just fine.
you'll
That's,
win.
that's all you got to do. Just turn around and
Yeah.
hand the ball off, man. Gino, it's an easy job, buddy. Just give him the
Yeah.
football. I love it. New York Jets on the clock here at pick number 7. Where are they going?
I think they go another guy that I'm extremely high on. I think you have about 2 blue chippers in this draft. I think that there are about 3 or 4 guys though that are right behind that and not far off. Give me Tyler Warren, uh, tight end
Yeah.
from Penn State. You
Yep.
got to give Justin Fields a reliable guy over the middle. Aaron Glenn was in Detroit. I think Tyler Warren can be used in so many different ways. Put him in the backfield with Hall and Fields, and that will be a very fun offense to watch. He can run quarterback, he can run the Wildcat, he can do anything you need him to. A great blocker. And at the end of the day, like I said, make Fields' life easier. You have Garrett Wilson on the outside, you have Hall. Their offensive line is pretty darn good, and I think you can supplement it. I know they do need a tackle position. I think you can supplement that in the later rounds, maybe second, third, fourth round.
Yep.
You can get a quality guy there. I just think you really got to do everything you can to make Justin Fields' life as easy as possible. And I think this is a guy that does that tremendously for him. So,
Yeah. Tyler Warren's awesome. I wish I could have him fall to you guys at 14.
yeah, I do too.
You'd love it.
Very,
I'm finding it really hard to get him to even get out of the top 10.
I think we'd have to trade up to this spot to get him, which I wouldn't hate at some point if you like a guy, go get him,
Yeah.
But I just think the Jets can view him as one of the best offensive weapon available at this point in the
Yeah.
draft. I could see them going, defense or tackle, but I just think Tyler Warren's too good of an offensive weapon for them to pass on here. He was the
Totally
reason
agree.
Penn State was as good as they were, in my opinion. And
Yep.
I think he does too much and can be such a chess piece on the offensive side of the ball, which you really don't really see too much at tight end. So
Agreed. Yeah, he just does so much well. There's not a whole lot that he struggles with, man. He's just so,
yeah.
so good. And it's a big need for the Jets, in my opinion. Colin read off their tight end room in his mock draft, and it is really bad. It
Yeah.
is terrible. They need somebody to be a leader in that room and to be the guy. You found your guy. And I feel like he'd be a good culture piece, too, for an Aaron Glenn locker
For
room.
sure. For
I,
sure. And after Brock Bowers last year,
yep.
I know a lot of people get this stigma like, oh, you can take tight end. If they are as productive as Brock Bowers was last year, you take them wherever you need to take them at that point because he was an absolute stud for the Raiders.
Yes.
Their best offensive weapon. The only reason they had any competent offense, in my opinion, was because of Brock Bowers. And
Yes.
I think Tyler Warren, while he might not be as elite as a receiving threat as Bowers, I think he can still do a lot of things very well. So give me Tyler Warren to the Jets.
Yep. I love that. Carolina Panthers on the clock here. Where do you got them going? This is a much talked about pick.
It is. I think I'm going to give him Jalen Walker,
Okay.
edge linebacker out of Georgia. I think he is a very unique piece for a defense.
Yeah.
I guess hopefully he can develop into an elite edge, but I do think this is another guy, him and Campbell, I think are both real chess pieces of a defense that you can utilize in many different ways. I could see them going wide out here as well, but you do already have a decent amount put into that room.
Yeah.
With the get last year, Adam Thielen is still kicking the tires. So I think Bryce Young really came along last year. Getting rid of Brian Burns, I think you got to go get a difference maker. And I hope, Jalen Walker can be that guy for him. So
Yeah. Yep. I struggle with where to play him. It's
yeah,
just
for sure.
I think when I first started scouting Jalen Walker, my first thought was off-ball linebacker. And then people started saying, "Oh, edge rusher, edge rusher." And I've seen so many subpar reps from him as an edge rusher, and it's you're banking on a guy who doesn't have traditional edge rush size being able to just be more athletic than everybody and to suddenly become a good run defender and not get moved. He's not built like a traditional edge rusher. That scares me. I'd rather
For
use
sure.
his athleticism off ball. And
Yeah.
so now we're talking off ball linebacker at pick 8. Again, he's very interesting. I would be really curious to see how the Panthers deploy him. He's just one of those guys you'll play all over the place. And if they use him right and use his athleticism right, he can be awesome. But just has to be used in the right way and in the right system. So I think that's a super common pick. And it's one of those ones where it's like, okay, I mean, sure, I get it. I get it. I don't love it, but I get it.
And I think too, Kirby Smart talked about him and Tate Ratledge in the same breath as being just elite leaders,
Yeah.
elite football players that you want to have on your team, guys that come in, work hard, set the tone for you. And I think the Panthers need that on defense. And I think this is a guy that can provide it really, regardless of where he plays. And let's be real, at the end of the day, never bad having a Georgia defender on your team. They've proven to be very successful in the NFL. If
Yep.
you're going to say, hey, let's go get the best Georgia defender, in my opinion, you go get
Yeah.
Jalen Walker. And I think this is a guy, like you said, I'm not really sure where he fits in, but you find a home for him at some
Yep.
point. So,
You make it work.
for sure. And I understand, Georgia has, or the Panthers do have a lot of needs in the secondary as well. I just think this is a little bit too early for either Starks or Barron, in my opinion. I think
Yeah.
edge is such a premium position as well. And if he ends up being an interior, like an inside backer, hey, Luke Kuechly wasn't too bad of a player for him. I'm not saying he's that, but at the end of the day, they can't have difference makers. And
Right.
I think Jalen Walker can be a difference maker for the Panthers. So
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Saints on the clock here at pick 9. A very talked about pick recently, especially with the Derek Carr news. Who you got the Saints going with here?
yeah, I got him taking Shador Sanders. One thing I do appreciate about Shador, I think the arm talent as far as arm strength is an elite. I do think he has really good accuracy.
Yes.
Playing inside of a dome, I think that'll be extremely helpful for him. Go
Yep.
give
Yep.
more his new quarterback of the future. And this is a guy too. Drew Brees didn't have great arm talent. He was just an extremely accurate passer. At the end of the day, go to the Saints, look good in black and gold. And I think, Shador has proven, whether it was at Jackson State or Colorado, he is able to kind of generate, noise about a team and kind of get him up to relevancy. Especially with the Saints kind of continuing to just sign free agents that are a little bit
Yeah.
older at big contracts. He's a guy that can hopefully come in and the accuracy allows him to kind of propel your team into relevancy, and maybe win that terrible division, for lack of a better term. So
Yeah, I was never really on board with Shador Sanders at pick 2, but I'm not
right.
also on board with him being out of the first round like some people have.
Correct.
That's crazy. Like let's calm
For
down here.
sure.
People are just you either are too high on Shador Sanders or you're too low on Shador Sanders apparently. So pick 9 I think is a great spot for him. Go play with Kellen Moore, who's been a very good offensive mind in the league. Solid offensive line in front of him. This will be without a doubt the best offensive line he's ever had in front of him in football, except maybe
Right.
high school. I don't know about his high school line, but college lines were terrible, and this would give him a solid offensive line where they have some solid pieces out there in New Orleans. I like this fit. I really do. Colin had this one too, and I think this is a very common one, and I like it. I do.
100%. Like I
Chicago.
said, playing in a dome is huge for him as
Yes.
well. You don't
Agreed.
have to deal. If he goes to Cleveland, I don't think he has the arm strength to
No.
to dart a ball right through those weather conditions.
Mm-mm.
I think this gives him a little bit of leeway as well with just being able to rely on the accuracy, especially when he comes in, and then he can kind of develop that, sense of when pressure's coming and really be able to start to understand defenses,
Yeah.
to become, I guess hit his ceiling for what he can be as a player. So
Yeah, I agree. Keep him out of the crappy weather where his arm strength will be. And he's not like the greatest athlete either. I mean, this dude,
for
he's
sure.
very similar to Tua. It's hard. I hate to say that because I'm not super high on Shador Sanders, but limited athlete, super accurate, very, very good at reading a defense, doesn't have the arm strength to really dominate in cold weather where you have to zip the ball in this crappy weather where the wind's blowing. So play somewhere where you don't have to really deal with that most of the time. So I like that fit. I really do. Chicago Bears, pick number 10.
Yeah, this was an interesting one for me, and I thought about it quite a bit. I'm gonna explain the rationale behind the pick before I give you the pick. I know Colin did the opposite, so hey,
Huh?
little change of pace is never bad.
Sure, sure.
In my opinion, the Bears have done an excellent job this offseason of giving them the flexibility to, at this pick, do whatever they need to do, whatever they feel is necessary.
Yes.
However, I think at this pick, you do have to get a starter. In my opinion, looking at the Bears, there's realistically a few positions. I think wide receiver 3 is big. I think you could go get another corner, even though they just paid Kyler Gordon, have Jalen
Hmm.
Johnson there as well. Give me Tetaroa McMillan. I think this is a pick that I've not seen really. I think, though, he kind of reminds me of that Brandon Marshall a little bit. Just go
Yeah.
get it in the end
Yeah.
zone. Ben Johnson did talk about at the end of the day, the most important stat to win games is quarterback EPA. I
Yeah.
think you've done a really good job of getting him the offensive line he needs. If you were to say take an Armand Membu, we've not seen him play left tackle. You
Right.
just drafted Darnell Wright a couple of years ago, who's your right tackle, and you hope he's going to be the right tackle of the future. Um, I just think that Tetaroa McMillan, especially DJ Moore's 28, he's going to not getting old, but I think you can play him at slot. Tetaroa can be your outside, Roma Dunze at the other end.
Yep.
I think this is exactly what you would want to do to prove to Caleb Williams, we are giving you every option possible to be
Everything.
the best quarterback. And I know running back is a position of need for them. I think this is a little too early for Hampton, in my opinion. I think you can come back with your 2 second round picks, get a running back. If you think
Yep.
safety's a need here, I think this is a little too early for Malachi Starks, even though I truly believe he's going to be an elite talent. You still have Byard, you still have Brisker. So give me a guy that I think can come in and start day one. There's not going to be really any question marks about it as far as, if you take Membu, can he play left tackle? We haven't seen that. And if not, are you really going to waste your 10 overall pick on a backup guy that you're hoping can develop and replace Braxton Jones when his contract is up?
Right.
And like I said, you've just invested so much into the O line. I think Tedero McMillan would make this offense elite, explosive, and really give him a reliable threat in the red zone to just throw the ball up, win those 50-50 balls. And I
Hmm.
think Ben Johnson can really appreciate that out of him. So
Yeah, no team would have three corners that can cover Odunze, McMillan, and more. There's just not
correct.
no team has that talent because
Right.
okay, your number three corner, your nickel corner is gonna have to go up against DJ Moore, who will be in the slot. And who's this like DJ Moore is a good receiver. I have nothing against DJ Moore at all. Who's to say the Bears aren't interested in getting out of his contract after this season? You really just want to have Romo Dunze going forward as your only guy who, let's face it, was a little disappointing as a rookie, didn't get what we all thought he might. But if he's your only receiver after this season because you get out of that DJ Moore contract, that's not a great answer. Tedero McMillan gives you a number one potential guy with his size, length, overall talent. I mean, the guy's a freak, man. There's a reason he gets comped to Mike Evans and AJ Green. You don't want that on your team? Why not? Again, this is another player where we're just all overthinking him. He was consensus a top 10 guy, and now he's in the 20s for some reason. I just don't see that. I mean, the wide receiver position is so valuable in the NFL. Tedero McMillan is so good. Don't overthink it. Just take the best player here, because like you said, the Bears put themselves in position to just go after the best talent here. They really did, and I think that's McMillan. I love that pick for them. That's a great pick.
In my opinion, too, any position of need that you say, hey, let's go get a safety, I think you could come back in the second round, maybe get a guy like Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame.
Hmm.
If you say a running back, I think both Ohio State running backs will be there in the second round. I really, really like Henderson, but I could also
Yeah,
be convinced into Judkins here. Pick
yeah,
your poison. If Ben Johnson really does like a running back, if he really is obsessed with Hampton, maybe take him here. But at the end of the day, I totally agree too. Thinking long term as well. I mean,
yeah,
DJ Moore in 2 years, going to be 30 years old, and you have a
yeah,
big contract out to him. This is a guy that can come play with Caleb Williams his entire career, hopefully. And
yep.
like I said, at the end of the day, just give Ben Johnson as many weapons as possible and let that man cook. I think they could be a extremely dynamic and explosive offense. And I think this just adds to that room, especially after you've already added so much to your O line. I just think at what point can you say, hey, we've done so much up front. You just can't keep, can't have a first round pick there every single year and expect to win
Right,
games. At some point, you got
right.
to have weapons around. And I think this is a guy that can make a huge difference. So,
Yeah, agreed, agreed. Great pick. San Francisco, pick number 11.
yeah. And this is where like I said, give me Armand Membu here out of Missouri. I think
Ooh.
they do need tackle help.
Big.
I also could see them taking Jade Barron here as well, but
Yeah.
I do think Membo is a little bit too good of a prospect to fall any further than this. And at the end of the day, Brock Purdy is your quarterback. He's not really, he is a decent athlete, but not good
Mhm.
enough to evade pressure. This is a guy that I think can come in and play right away for you, and make an impact. So,
Yeah, I said this in Colin's draft, and I'm going to say it in this draft, and I'll probably say it in my draft. I am going to save us all the hour I could spend talking about Armand Membu and how good he is, in my opinion. So I'll just go. I'll just leave it there. He's my offensive lineman number one in this class, and San Francisco needs it. They need offensive line help badly. And if who knows, maybe Armand Membu takes over on the left side for Trent Williams when he retires. Maybe he's great on the left side like he is on the right side. And if he's not, well, guess what? You've got one of the best right tackles in football for a long time, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with
for
that.
sure. I
Love
will
Membu.
say, quick thing. Shout out to us. You were high on Membu and Nolan. Those are guys that are now being very, I mean,
Rated
very
highly.
coveted guys. I know, as far as Omar Norman Lott, you'll see
Yeah.
on PFF, he's a
Yeah.
guy that's somehow sneaking into one of the top ranks.
27th
I've
now. He has
Yeah, I've
flown
seen
up boards.
Higgins out of ISU is
Yeah.
up there as well. So just want to say, quick shout out to us.
Yeah.
You might
We
know
know
a
what we're
thing or
talking
two.
about.
So, but yeah, no, I think he's a great player, and I really think too that he can come in and be a starter. And like you said, I think this allows him to develop if they do need to move him to left tackle, but he can come in and be
Yep.
an immediate starter at right tackle, no questions asked. You don't really have any second thoughts about it. So
Yep. Totally agree with you there. Cowboys, kind of an interesting spot here. A few players off the board that you would like for them, especially like a Tedero McMillan, you'd love for them. You know, Dan Ashton Genty obviously was very popular to them early on. Where you got the Cowboys going?
yeah, this was an interesting one. And this is where, I think some of these picks have kind of shaped me into just taking Jihad Campbell, linebacker out of Alabama.
Oh, yes.
Um, I think he's a really, really elite talent. I would love if
Yeah.
the Colts took him. I do think we need a tight end more.
Mhm.
But I think this is a guy that does have a little bit of position flexibility. He can rust the edge if you need him to a little bit,
Mhm.
especially in like NASCAR packages, things of that nature. A
Yep.
guy that can be all over the field. He's super explosive, just an elite athlete. Will knock your socks off when he hits you. I think he's a
Yep.
smash mouth guy that can help bring a real attitude to the Cowboys defense, in which they definitely need. So.
Yeah, and this is a position of need too. This is a value meets position
Yeah.
of need. Who do you have to play middle linebacker for your team right now going forward? DeMarvion Overshone, who looked good last year, big injury at the end of the season. He's probably going to miss the entire year. Eric Kendricks is like 75 years old and runs like a 75-year-old. You need some sort of athlete on your defense to help out. And like you said, Jahad Campbell can be a pass rusher if you need him to. I just got done watching a rep of him against Will Campbell, and technically he won the rep and got the sack. Now, it wasn't a knock on Will Campbell, that rep. I wouldn't say he lost it more so than Campbell won it. But the fact that he can do that against what people consider to be the best tackle in this class says something to me. Jahad Campbell's a defensive chess piece, and I love the style of play he brings. I think top 15 is absolutely where he should go. Any lower than that, and you're just getting an absolute steal. So I love that pick for Dallas. Yeah, big fan of that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, I,
The
I think he's a
Dolphins.
stud too.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
big
this
fan.
is this is a fun one for me.
Oh boy,
I think there are a few guys that you could go here. I think Greer has really shown
to be an
um
idiot.
maybe not the best football acumen. So with the
No.
13th pick here, give me a DB out of Colorado. Give me Shiloh Sanders. No, I'm just absolutely kidding with you. No, no,
My
but I do
heart
think they
dropped. I was
attacked.
like,
I
what?
know, I know, I
I
had
don't
to
know
do
any DBs out of Colorado.
it. Yeah. No, give me Jade Barron here. I think he's
Yeah.
obviously besides Travis Hunter, one of the best cornerbacks in this draft.
Yep.
Especially with what, the Jalen Ramsey situation.
Yep.
I think you guys need to attack that. I honestly, the three guys that are available here, I like any of them to the
Yeah.
Dolphins. I think Walter Nolan's a great pick. I think Malachi Starks is a difference maker too.
Yep.
I just think Jade Barron's a really, really good talent. Gives some position flexibility if you play him in the slot, play him outside.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, award winner, just an absolute stud, and was a lockdown corner for the Texas defense. So
Yes. He's one of the 13 players I have pegged as like, I will be happy with this player at
yeah,
13. This
yeah,
list, this is my list of 13 guys. One of them will be available, I promise. And he's on that list of 13 guys I am more than happy to take. Cornerback is a need. Even if we keep Jalen Ramsey, it's a need
yeah,
because you're going to, like,
100%.
Cam Smith, a former second round pick, hasn't shown anything, can hardly get on the field. So you want to trot out last year's undrafted free agent Storm Duck to be opposite Jalen Ramsey? Are we sure that's a winning formula? I don't think so. Jahdae Barron can play all over the defensive backfield, man. He's awesome. And he was so good at Texas this year. You could not throw the ball at him. I mean, his stats, and man, if he's a Dolphin, you better get used to hearing these stats. 0 touchdowns allowed, 5 interceptions, and a passer rating of 34.2. That's unbelievably good. And he played all over the field. You look at where they have him aligned for snaps. I mean, 122 slot, 679 just as a pure corner, 142 snaps in the box, and then even played deep 15 times too. And he was on the defensive line 12 times. Like, he played literally everywhere, and he was the
Yep.
best corner in football this year. And yet, you may not love the size at 5'11". I'm not too worried about it. There are plenty of corners at 5'11" that play fantastic football. I like that pick. I'm a-okay with that pick to Miami.
I just had to do the Shiloh. So that hey,
Oh,
that
dude.
would not be off brand after the offseason Chris
Whew.
Greer's had.
No, it would not. No, it would not.
So
Because he would try and, yeah, my God. You said DB out of Colorado. I'm like, oh my God, who, what,
yeah,
what?
who did I miss? Hey,
My
you did
heart
run like
sunk.
a
I'm like, have I been missing
4.59,
someone
dude.
this whole time?
Yeah.
You're a dick.
Legacy pick.
Legacy player. Oh my God, I would die. I would burn everything I had of
Yeah,
Miami.
oh, absolutely,
Everything
absolutely.
is done. We're done. We're
No,
breaking
yeah.
up.
Chris Greer's getting fired immediately after the first round.
I'm driving to Miami and taking a
Yeah,
dump on his car.
yeah, 100%,
You
100%.
YouTube heard it first. If
Yep,
Shiloh Sanders goes to Miami at pick 13, I am getting
it's
in the
over.
car
It's
and
over.
driving to Miami and
It's
finding Chris
over.
Greer's car and pooping on the hood of his car. Book it.
100%.
All right, Colts, where you got your boys going?
Yeah, interesting pick. I think there's a few different ways we can go, but at the end of the day, we had zero production out of this position last year. Give me Colson Loveland, tight end out of Michigan.
Yep.
I would absolutely love it if Warren could somehow fall here. I could see us
Yeah.
trading up to try to get him. I think we did last year to try to get Bowers or Malik
Yeah.
Neighbors, one of the two. Um, to and I think we just had such bad production from this position. I know we need guard help, but at the end of the day, I think it's a little bit too early to take a guard. We already had Quentin Nelson. You just have invested so much in the offensive line. I could see honestly we do need somebody tackle depth as well. I would love Walter Nolan or an edge as well, especially after this next year. Only
Yeah.
player under contract is Latu Latu. But I think after last year, I know we brought Molly Cox back, who's an excellent blocker, but you just need someone who can help if the Colts win this season, it will be because Anthony Richardson takes a big step. And I think the best way to do that is to get him a receiving safety blanket that can go underneath. Colin Granson dropped balls last year. I know now he's an Eagle out. Andrew Ogletree dropped balls last year. Will Mallory hasn't really proven to be what he can be. Jelani Woods has never been able to stay healthy. I think, our wide receivers were pretty set there. Line edge are the two biggest things in need. I could see us taking a backer if Campbell's there. I think he's a stud, but at the end of the day, give me someone to help Anthony Richardson and really see if we can get to what we hope he is. So
Yeah, I really do think both of the tight ends are gone in the first 15 picks.
for
I
sure.
I truly believe that. I think Colston Loveland is getting a bad rep as a blocker. I don't really know why.
I
It's
think,
not like he's a
yeah,
bad blocker at all. He will be just fine as a blocker in the NFL, in my opinion. And he's also an excellent receiver, the best receiving tight end, and one
for
of the
sure.
best receiving tight ends to be considered in the first round here, for sure. He's more of the Brock Bowers type, where he's going to be
Right.
more play a lot of time in the slot, play a lot of inline as well. You can move him all over the place, and he'll be a mismatch problem. And he's going to give Anthony Richardson some easy completions, and that's what you want to do to get your quarterback some confidence and get him going. Yeah, I like the Colston Loveland pick. Give the Colts a tight end, especially if they don't move up and they miss out on Tyler Warren.
Yep.
Colston Loveland is a hell of a consolation prize. Yeah. Atlanta, pick 15.
Yeah, this was another tough one for me. I know I've had Williams go here a lot. I do think they address edge. Give me Mike Green out of Marshall. I do
Ooh.
think he's a good fit for them. I think the production was there, obviously. Having so much success at the Senior Bowl was big for him as well.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a shame for them to not take an edge here. And in my opinion, Mike Green is the best edge available at the moment. So give me a guy that hopefully can come in, create some production for you from a sack standpoint.
Mhm.
And I just don't think there's any weapons, whether it be line or even wide receiver, anything available that really pushes me over the edge to want to draft him here. So give me Mike Green, in my opinion, the best defensive edge available here. So
Yeah, you cannot argue with what he's done in college, and you're gonna want to say, "Well, he did it at Marshall." I really don't care, man. Show me you can finish the play. Show me you can finish the play. There are so many players that we're gonna talk about in the first round that can't finish the play. Shamar Stewart cannot finish the damn play. Mykel Williams cannot finish the play, and by that I mean he cannot bring the quarterback down and get the sack. Great, you can get close, and maybe you're good against the run, or you're a very good athlete. I need someone who can get me sacks. That's Mike Green. That's what Mike Green does. He's an artist, man. He's damn good. I like Mike Green there. I think that's a good one. I was another one. I'm gonna kind of pat myself on the back a little bit. I just never understood the Mykel Williams hype, man. I was never all about him at the top. He was frequently mocked at pick 8, and I'm like, are we sure this guy's a first round talent? Are we sure? I don't know, man. And now seeing him fall down the boards a bit, I'm like, aha, I was early on that, and I feel happy about that. So I
And
like,
with Mike Green, doing it at the Senior Bowl to me was the
yeah,
biggest thing as well. Like that, I think cemented him as one of the upper echelon edge rushers in this draft. I think him and James Pierce are both kind of
yes.
up there in that conversation as well. I just think the Falcons really need to add to that pass rush room. So
Desperately, desperately. Totally agree with you there. Arizona on the clock here at pick 16.
yeah, a lot of guys available here. Give me Will Johnson, cornerback
Great
out of
pick.
Michigan.
Yeah, slam dunk.
Hopefully he can be your Patrick Peterson. I know I've seen reports that he might be falling. I don't see it. I think he's a stud. I think he can
Yes.
be an elite corner for you. Excuse me, go get Gannon, just another piece for that defense. So
Yep. Yeah, I love Will Johnson. I would be a-okay with him at pick 13 to Miami. He's got the length you want. He's very quick. Everyone's like, "Oh man, he's not fast." I don't care. Why did he not get killed in college football? Why was he not obliterated if he's so damn slow? Why was he not awful? Because it's just not as big of a deal as we're making it out to be, guys. He is if he runs a 4.55, that's not that bad. Especially if he plays off ball, gets a couple step head start, man, he's gonna be fine. And God forbid he has a safety over the top to help him, right? I mean, what are we talking about here? This guy is an elite cornerback prospect. We are overthinking him, just like we did with Christian Gonzalez, just like the NFL did by letting him fall to 17 and going after Emmanuel Forbes. I mean, what are we talking about? Love Will
and
Johnson.
I think too, 40 time, in my opinion, is something, but at the end of the day, it's not everything. There's a difference
No.
between being able to run a 40 and being fast on a football
Mm-hmm.
field. They're two very different things, in my opinion.
Yep.
And this guy, if you watch the tape, speed was not an issue for
No.
him. I think he can come in and be an elite corner day one.
Yep.
Obviously the injury, it is what it is. As long as he passes medicals, though, there should be no questions about this guy and his ability on the football field. So
Yep. Totally agree with you. Totally agree. Cincinnati at pick 17. Man, probably offense, right? Because they just don't believe in.
yeah, I think Jackson Dart here. No, absolutely. This guy falls into their lap. Give me Walter Nolan.
Yeah, yeah,
Nate,
yeah.
you've been on him a ton. I think he's an absolutely like just a stud talent as
Yeah.
well.
Yep.
I think he can create pressure up the middle. I know they probably do need some edge help as well with is it Sam Hubbard being gone or whoever it was. And
Mhm.
obviously the Trey Hendrickson situation as well.
Right.
This is a guy plug and play, forget about it, great talent, can have the production, has shown that he can have the production. And I don't see a ton of weak spots in his game as well. And at the end of the day, the Bengals 1 through 7 round picks should all be defense at this point. I don't really, maybe a guard at some point in the
Maybe a
draft,
guard.
but
Yeah.
other than that, defense the whole
Yes.
entire time. So
Has to be. You've spent every dollar on the offensive side of the ball. Every dollar you spent offensive. You've got to do something on the defensive side of the ball. Walter Nolan's going to be a problem in the league. Think of like Geno Atkins in Cincinnati. This is what we're doing. We're replacing Geno Atkins with Walter Nolan. You cannot, this is dumb. Bear with me. Walk with me. Talk with me here. Walter Nolan. Guys, that's an all pro name. That's an all pro football name. I don't care what you say. That's Aaron Donald, Walter Nolan. I'm not saying he's going to be Aaron Donald, but the name's strong names. That is a strong name, man. It means something. I don't know. I don't know. It means something to me. I love Walter Nolan. I think he's going to be so good in the NFL. I would not be shocked if the Jaguars are considering him at pick 5 because of his upside. He has
see
an
that.
insane upside. great as a pass rushing defensive lineman. He's got such a quick first step. When I was watching one of my personal favorites in this draft, Willie Lampkin at the Senior Bowl, and I'm like, yes, God, he looks so good. And then he had a rep where the defensive lineman was by him before he was out of his stance, and I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I didn't see who that was. Is Walter Nolan? Of course it was, because he is so quick at 310 pounds. It's not fair. His first step is second to maybe only James Pierce in this class. Walter Nolan is going to be a problem in the NFL. I love him. I would love him in Miami too, personally. So,
And real quick with the Jags, I'll say this too. I don't think you're crazy by saying that. Walker was not the most productive
no.
player coming
Mm-mm.
out, but
Mm-mm.
they thought he could develop. And I'll be blunt, first couple of years didn't look that great. Last
Nope.
year he really came on though.
Yeah.
So I know like I said, Graham I think has the highest floor maybe
Yeah.
out of the, out of the next picks besides Hunter and Abdul Carter. I could see it though, because I do agree. I think Walter Nolan can be a very big problem in the
Yes.
league.
Yeah.
I think he also does have a high floor, but I think his ceiling is extremely,
Oh,
extremely high as well. So
yeah. Cannot talk enough about Walter Nolan. That's one of my draft crushes, man. He's so good. Seattle on the clock here at pick 18. Where are you going with this one?
yeah, I think they addressed the offensive line. I did kind of go back and forth here between a couple of guys. Just what I hope he can be from a position flexibility standpoint. Give me Gray Zabel here,
Uh-huh. Yep. Yes.
out of
Yes.
North Dakota State. Um, I know that Booker's probably, in my opinion, the better prospect, just because I know he's a guard. I
Yes.
do think Zabel, though, really can I think he could play any position on the offensive line. I think he's a
Hmm.
little bit more athletic than Booker is. He maybe doesn't
Yes.
have the anchor that Booker does.
No.
And I just think you can utilize him in a few different ways. He just gives you a ton of flexibility, and I don't really think you can go wrong with adding him to your offensive line room. So I think for Seattle, this would be a home run pick where they get a guy that can play any position on the offensive line. Someone goes down. I know they have some young guys on the offensive line already. But I think he can just be a plug and play guy wherever you need him to, gives you that position flexibility. And once again, a guy that, after the season with the different bowl games and Senior Bowl and all these things, like I think he really did show that he can do it against higher talent competition as well. So,
Yeah, voted best player at the Senior Bowl by all the coaches in attendance. That
yeah,
that means something because there were some talented players there. Um, Gray Zabel just doesn't have. He's got like, I mean, his arms are short, like way shorter, definitely shorter than Will Campbell's arms. So you question at tackle there, but fortunately for Seattle, they don't need a tackle. That's actually a position where they're pretty good at. It's the interior of their offensive line that needs
yeah,
help. And Gray Zabel is
100%.
not the best guard because I think Tyler Booker is the best guard, but Gray Zabel is obviously much more athletic and it's a Kubiak scheme, and they like to run the wide zone plays and get their guards out in space, and that is Gray Zabel as opposed to a Tyler Booker. Now, I will say, you take Tyler Booker here, and he's going to be a better pass protector than Gray Zabel on day one without a
Yeah,
question, but it's fit. Tyler Booker, his athleticism doesn't necessarily fit with what Seattle likes to do. So
yeah,
I think Gray Zabel to Seattle is definitely in the cards. I'm deathly afraid of us Miami taking him at pick 13 because he's so athletic. And we're like, oh my God, an athletic offensive lineman? Yeah, yes, please. Very afraid of that. Not saying anything bad about Gray Zabel. Can be a very, very good guard. I just don't want him right now at 13. But Seattle at
yeah.
18, I think, is really solid for him.
And I think too, with the power thing, I don't know if Zabel can develop, as much into be what Booker is from a strength standpoint.
Hmm.
But being a Colts fan, we take guys that are great athletes. They can develop strength over time.
Yeah.
Obviously, having an anchor is one thing, but maybe with the athleticism, you hope he can develop that extreme power over time as well to just become an overall very, very good offensive lineman. I do think he plays in the interior as well.
Yeah.
Didn't he get reps at center during the Senior
Mhm.
Bowl as well? Yeah, just a
It's
guy
Graham
that,
Barton. It's Graham Barton
yep,
from last
yep,
year.
yep,
Yep, tackle that probably shouldn't play tackle in the league, but can be
for
elite
sure.
on the interior. You
Yep,
just take him and you're like, all right, you want to be a center or a guard? We'll make it work either way.
yep,
And
100%.
yeah, I like that pick a lot. Tampa Bay here at pick 19. Who are they going with?
Yeah, obviously defensive side of the ball here as well. A guy that I just have loved ever since he came out. Give me Malachi Starks
Yeah,
here.
thought you were
I
going
just
there.
think the ball production, I think he's a ball hawk, a leader of a defense. He can be the leader of the secondary. I know they already have Winfield in the secondary as well, but I just think that this makes them chef's kiss. I think
Man.
he can be a stud. I think the ball production will be there. And to be honest, I think that really shores up your back end as far as no one's going to be beating you over the top. Obviously, I know they could stand at a corner. But once again, this is another team along with the Bengals that I think defense, defense, defense.
Yeah,
And you just roll with the punches as these guys learn. The offense with Baker has obviously shown they can be productive, but I just think Malachi Starks is a very, very, very good talent coming out. I think, in my opinion, I know Emanwari's obviously got all the physical attributes, but I think Starks has the mentals, and just the
absolutely.
makeup you want from a guy that can play really anywhere on the field. So,
Yeah, Stark's football IQ is one of the best in this class, and he's not like a rare athlete like some of these other guys are, but he's not
right.
a schlub by
No,
any means.
no, no, for
The
sure.
dude can move. He is super talented, unbelievably smart, very versatile too. Him and Antoine Winfield Jr. together as your safety tandem. Thank you. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. That helped. That makes everybody better when you have those two guys out there leading your defense.
Yeah.
Everybody on the defensive side of the ball is better because of it. So I like that pick a lot.
Yeah.
Denver, pick 20.
This was a tough one for me, but I just don't see them coming out of the first round without a running back. Give me Omari and Hampton out of North
Yeah.
Carolina. Personally, I don't think I'm as high on Hampton as other people are. I really do
Okay.
think Genty is in the upper echelon. I know I've said it before. I'm very high on Henderson out of
Yeah.
Ohio State. But I think Hampton does everything well. I think maybe he doesn't have elite traits at anything, but I think he is
Mm.
just he's going to be a great back overall. And I think that Sean Payton will value that. And once again, you really just got to help out Bo Nix. I know, honestly, I think Denver is a sneaky team this year just to continue to get better. I love Sean Payton's leadership, and I think you add a running. I think they have to take a running back within the first two rounds.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think Hampton is a guy that can come in, and like I said, do a little bit of everything for you. He's a good pass catcher, good runner, good after contact. There's not really a lot of holes in his game. I guess I just don't see those elite traits that I would hope to have. But at the end of the day, he does so much so well that I just don't see him being a bad back in the NFL by any means.
Yeah.
And I think the Denver Broncos desperately, desperately, desperately need a running back. So
Yeah. I'm not surprised by the pick. I wouldn't have been surprised if this pick was Travion Henderson, and I won't be surprised on draft night if it is indeed Travion Henderson.
yeah,
He fits Sean Payton's offensive scheme, man. He's all about the quick. I mean, Alvin Kamara was unbelievable underneath him. And this is a player who's coming into the NFL, Travion Henderson is coming into the league. There's a ton of tread left on those tires because he split all of his reps with Quinshon Judkins. He's never had more than his most carries in a season was 156. So he has got plenty more to go. So I kind of was thinking, oh, is Bobby going to do it? Is
yeah.
he going to go with Travion Henderson? Love
And
Omari and Hampton, but he's been, he had 254 carries last year, 281 this year on top of 30 and 40 receptions. So he's been, he's got worked, but very,
for
very
sure.
talented player.
And I guess this, in my opinion, the way that Henderson succeeds is he comes in and has that 1A, 1B backfield. That is how I think in the NFL that he can be. I know I keep saying Jahmyr Gibbs. I know Jahmyr Gibbs is a one of one, but
Yeah,
I think that that is the way you will get the most production out of him is by having him be that explosive receiver out of the backfield. I think he can break the long runs, but I think Hampton does give you an every down back with the Broncos
absolutely.
that I don't know if Henderson can fight. I don't know if he will be as good as Hampton at fighting for that short yardage and getting it, almost like that power back role.
Right.
So for that reason, I just think Hampton is a little bit more well-rounded, where I
Yeah.
think that Henderson has those elite traits, whether it be the burst, the speed, the receptions. Where Hampton, I think, is just overall, there's really not many holes in his game. And I
No,
think once again, too, he can be a receiver, which I know Sean Payton will value, but
no,
I think this is a three down back. You don't have
absolutely.
to add to that room as well to really
No.
get the most out of him, like I do think you would with Henderson. So
Yeah, this is a bell cow offense. This is a bell
for
cow
sure.
running back.
Yeah.
This is a guy that you don't take off the field. You don't have to because he can do everything unbelievably well. I mean, only 2 drops. That's crazy. This
Yeah.
past season, over 1,200 yards after contact. Missed,
Yeah.
473 missed. Like the guy's just so, so, so good. So good. Yeah. Big fan of Omari and Hampton. Him at 20 for Denver is a slam dunk pick for them. Absolutely.
I could see
Pick.
him going to the Cowboys too, also.
Yes.
Like, I mean, I could see him going very early in this draft.
Oh, yeah.
Especially I really do think Saquon last year with the Eagles showed that the running back position is still valuable, especially with linebackers becoming lighter. you're just
Yep.
starting to see defenses really try to affect the pass, that the run game's starting to kind of make a
It's
comeback. So
coming
hopefully we
back.
can, I love the big boys up front.
Yep.
I love that nitty gritty
Yep.
power run schemes, things like that. Hopefully we see that come back in the NFL as well. So
I think we are. I think we are. Pittsburgh Steelers. Talking about a nitty gritty team. Honestly, the Steelers are just always a nuisance to play because you just leave banged up. Where are they going at pick 21?
yeah, this was an interesting one. So I'm gonna give him Jackson Dart, quarterback
Okay.
out of Ole Miss. I love his arm. I think he does have the athletic traits you want out of a quarterback. To be honest, I think he could almost be more successful than Shedeur Sanders can be. I think, in
Oh
my
yeah.
opinion, he could be looked at as QB2 in this draft. I
Yep.
wouldn't be mad about it by any means. I could also see, I know we talked about it a little bit earlier. I could see a team, I don't know who, trading back into the first round. Hey, maybe if the Giants do want to trade Thibodeau,
Giants.
try to get in front of the Steelers here. I think the Steelers have to go quarterback. I think Mike Tomlin, just they haven't had a quarterback. I could see if they do trade up, maybe them even taking um Jalen Milrow here. I know might be a little bit too early, but for a guy that runs a 4.44 3 and has the arm strength, is a great leader. Like, I think at the end of the day, the Steelers have to go quarterback here. You just can't, Mason Rudolph, like whoever you have is not going to do it. So give me a guy that you can hope can come in, develop. I think he has the arm strength to play in Pittsburgh and play in that cold weather. I think he's athletic enough too that he can escape. He has that escapability that you're looking for. A guy that honestly at Ole Miss actually did have a really good career as well in
Yeah.
college.
Very good.
And I think he has traits that teams will like. I think this is where the fall stops for him is the Steelers. So
Okay, I like it. I do. I agree. I could see the Giants picking up the phone with Denver. Denver saying, we need a running back, but it's such a deep class, we'll be okay. Trading up to pick 20, giving up Kayvon Thibodeau, pick 34, and a future 2 or something like that, and taking the quarterback before the Steelers could. I could absolutely see that happening. Totally.
or the Buccaneers before, who also
So
need
like
an
the
edge rusher.
Bucks too, right? Send them Thibodeau and pick 34 or whatever, and a
Yeah.
couple extra picks to sweeten it up a little bit, and then you get your QB. Could totally see that happening, but in this
Yeah.
instance, I like Jackson. You've got to go quarterback because all you have
Have
is
to.
Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson. That's not going to work. It's just not
Have
going to work.
to.
Yeah. Chargers on the clock here at pick 22.
Yeah, this was another one too. I had a little bit of back and forth, but at the end of the day, this is a Harbaugh-led team, and he believes in grit and winning through the trenches. Give me Kenneth Grant, interior
Yes.
defensive
Yes.
lineman out of
Great pick.
Michigan. It just makes too much sense for it to not happen. I know Luther Burden's there. I would love if they got Luther Burden. I know they have Lad. I get it. At the end of the day, Harbaugh last year, who did he take? A
Yep.
lineman.
Offensive lineman. Yep.
Build through the trenches. I think this is a guy that once again can come in, great run stopper. Honestly, a very, very good athlete as well. And I
Yeah.
think he really shores up that defensive line, especially on the interior for the Chargers. So
Yep, and they need it. They need it
yeah,
bad. And Kenneth Grant is such a rare athlete at his size, man. I mean, he's what, 340 pounds, 339 pounds, and the dude runs people down. He's so good. I struggle to find where I don't know where he's going to go in the draft. I could see him go at pick 9 to the Saints. I honest to God could. They run a 3-4 defense and they don't have a nose tackle. Kenneth Grant's a nose tackle, man.
yeah.
I could see him go at pick 9. It wouldn't shock me. Chargers, though, you know that Harbaugh is just ecstatic. Oh my God, he would need some new pants, a new pair of khakis if Kenneth Grant fell to him at 22.
Absolutely, absolutely,
He needs some
absolutely.
new khakis, baby. Green Bay, pick 23. This is one of the hardest ones for me every single draft.
It is. I'm not gonna lie. I could very well see Green Bay trading out of this position. I know Brian
Yes.
Gutekunst, even though it's in Green Bay, the fans will want to see a pick here.
Uh-huh.
This was one I really struggled with, and I know they need weapons.
Uh-huh.
Give
They
me
don't do
Luther
it.
Burden out of Missouri, though. I just think he is too good of a prospect. I really like him after the catch as well.
Yes.
I think he is probably a top 3 receiver in this class. I could see Agbuka going as well, but I just think Luther, and it sucks though, because I do think that if you add Luther Burden to the room with the Packers currently have, he is similar in body stature to what the Packers have. But at the end of the day, Jordan loves your guy. Get him weapons. I don't think there's any edges that I truly think are deserving to go here. I love Donovan Ezeraku here. But
Mm-hmm.
he's a small guy. I just don't know if he really fits what they want to do. I could be convinced into, Williams out of Georgia.
Yeah.
Um, Honestly, it may be a little early for this, but I also wouldn't be mad if Jaden Higgins went here as well, a bigger
Ooh,
body guy.
yeah, yeah.
In my opinion, Luther Burden is the best receiver available, the most explosive receiver available, and really gives you a run after catch ability that I think Green Bay would love. So,
Yes. Luther Burden, someone I've been high on this entire draft process also. He suffered from bad quarterback play this past
yeah,
season and a bad team. He was so good last year. He's an excellent route runner with fantastic hands and also very good after the catch. PFF's website makes a great point. They compare him to Debo Samuel. I totally see that. Totally
yeah,
can see that comparison, man. And Debo Samuel, when used correctly, at least once, 1 year, was one of the best receivers in the NFL for a season. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be Luther Burden, but Luther Burden in the Green Bay offense, where he's got other complementary pieces around him and good quarterback play, along with a good. You think LaFleur could use Luther Burden on that team? Oh my God, yes, please. And it's so hard to mock a wide receiver to them because they just don't do it. They just
yeah,
don't do it. But I love that
100%.
pick. I love the pick for them.
And I could be convinced into Amos here as well. Like I do think he's a guy that you could see go up boards quickly. I think he's
Yes.
going to be a solid corner in the league, but
Yep.
I just really do like Luther Burden. And like you said, I mean, I guess Packers fans, you can flame in the comments, but like at the end of the day, if you said, "Hey, we have Debo Samuel, hopefully he can stay healthy," minus the health concerns,
Mhm.
I don't really see any concerns with having him as a player on your team. So
No, yeah, sign me up for that because he was awesome. And Luther Burden is awesome and is going to be
yeah,
awesome. And I think Packers fans should be jumping for joy if he falls to them at 23. That's
yeah,
another guy. It's like, what are we doing? How is this happening? Minnesota on the clock here at pick 24. Where are you going with this one?
yeah. So this was another one that I'm torn. I think they go DB.
Yeah.
I know that they have safeties already, but give me Nicky Minwari out of South
Yes. My
Carolina.
favorite
He's
draft pick.
just such an athletic freak as well.
Yep.
Harrison Smith's only getting older. Somehow that guy's found the fountain of youth. But
He has.
this is a guy like just in the Flores defense, he will be so fun to watch. He has so many the speed, the size,
Yep.
just an athletic specimen. Like
Yes.
even if you still don't start him, you can find ways to use him this season and he can make an impact for you. I think too with Imanwari, I know I had to take a deeper dive into the safeties this year.
Yeah.
The ball production is there. It's not like
Yes.
he was just an athletic freak and didn't have the skill. I think the skill set matches the athleticism. I do think Starks is a lot more polished of a player, but I think that's great for Imanwari to go here. He can learn from Smith. He can learn the defense, which is very complex. He has the athletic ability, and guess what? Hopefully, after this year, he is that polished product and can just be an elite playmaker for you going forward. So,
Yeah, it's so hard to figure out what he's going to be. Is he going to be Derwin James or is he going to be just another one of these height, speed, weight freaks that were like, oh yeah, he was a
yeah,
great athlete, just never figured it out. But I don't think that's going to be him. I think he's going to be damn good, man. And I point to his ability to not miss tackles. He doesn't miss tackles at all. And also he doesn't miss games. He's played 800, 700, 770 snaps in each of the last 3 seasons. Like he has played all the time. He's always on the field. He does not miss tackles. 7 tackles missed this past season, 6 the season before. He 0 touchdowns allowed, 4 interceptions. Like he's awesome. He's awesome. Like yeah, he's a great athlete. That's an added bonus. But I think he was an end of a mid to late first round guy before we saw what kind of an athlete he was. And now it's like, man, you put him in a Brian Flores defense and watch out, man. Watch out. Yeah, I think Nick War is going to be very good. Uh, let's see. We got Houston on the clock here. I don't know if you're frozen or not. You might be frozen.
oh, you're good.
Oh,
Hopefully,
there we go. Yep, we're good. We're good. I got you.
cool,
I
cool,
got
cool,
you.
cool.
Yeah.
Must be
Houston
me
at
here.
pick 25.
Yeah, O line here.
Yes.
Give me Kelvin Banks. I think he's a stud.
Yes.
I know I have him falling here, but I truly do think he's going to be a very good left tackle as well. I don't. You could go any offensive lineman here, and I think that'd be a great selection for him. But I think Kelvin Banks stays in Texas. Just going to be a guy that hopefully can help Stroud and that O line because they have so many holes to fill in that offensive line. So
Like five of them.
yeah, yeah. Just a couple is all. Yeah,
Just a few holes on the offensive line, like all 5 starters. Yeah, they've got to figure something out. And Kelvin Banks gives you really good flexibility too on the left side.
yeah,
He's probably your long-term left tackle to replace
yeah,
Laramie Tunsil, who they didn't need. Whatever. We don't need him.
yeah.
Get out
Bye.
of here. We've got plenty of good offensive
That'd be
linemen.
such a nice problem to have, somehow thinking that you don't have to don't need Laramie Tunsil on your offensive line. I
Nuts.
don't get it,
Absolutely
but hey,
nuts.
hey, hey, I'm not
What
gonna
a
be mad
yeah.
about it as a Colts fan. So
Yeah. Hey, more power to them. They don't think they need to block. Respect.
yeah, draft Matthew Golden here. Sure, let
Yeah.
Latu just go after whoever you roll out there.
Yep. Bingo. Rams pick 26. Where are they going here?
Yeah, I would have liked to go close in Loveland if he was still here, but give
Uh-huh.
me Josh Simmons, tackle
Okay.
out of
Yeah.
Ohio State. I know the injury concern, but when this guy's healthy, he was an absolute stud for Ohio State. And I think this is a guy that, from all signs are pointing to the Rams want to continue to compete with Matt Stafford. This is another team that I could see hypothetically if Jackson Dart falls as well, maybe taking a shot on him as well to
Yeah.
just kind of prepare for that.
Yep.
But they're in that win now state. I think Josh Simmons is a guy that can come in, be a great, great offensive lineman for you. And obviously a need for him. So
Yes, absolutely. Josh Simmons, and it seems like he's ahead in his rehab schedule.
yeah,
I think that if he didn't get hurt in that Oregon game, he's a top 12 pick, top
for
13
sure.
in my opinion. So you just got to hope if the medicals check out, you're getting an absolute star offensive tackle. It's just the risk that you take of taking a guy who's been hurt. And I love the Rams taking a shot on him here because if he's good, you've just picked up a blindside blocker for the next 10 to 15 years at pick 26, which is a steal. Yeah,
Yeah.
great pick for the Rams there. Baltimore Ravens, pick 27.
Yeah, we've talked about this. I love this pick. Give me Tyler Booker here, a guard out of Alabama. I think he
Yeah.
fits what they want to do. Um,
Ooh,
Man, him running,
ooh,
Derrick Henry
ooh.
running behind him is going to be scary, scary,
Yikes.
scary. So,
Mm.
Smash Mouth division, just go get me a mauler, a guy that doesn't speed doesn't matter. He's just going
Yep.
to run through your face every single time. So,
Yep, exactly. And they have a glaring need at the guard position, and he's the best overall guard in this class, who's a true guard.
yeah,
And yeah, this is the scheme that he fits, the power running scheme. Man, him in front of Derrick Henry is a
yeah.
scary thought.
Tyler Lindenbaum as well. Like it, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Get
yeah.
out of their way because you're gonna get hurt if you stay in their way. Yeah, love that pick for them, man. Detroit Lions here, pick 28.
Yeah, I think this is, in my opinion, one of the better case scenarios for the Lions. Give me James Pierce Jr.,
Ooh,
edge out of
yeah,
Tennessee.
okay.
Out of that
Respect.
pass rush, I mean, you're telling me you have him and Hutch coming off the edge.
Yes.
I think that'll be a very, very productive edge group for you. James Pierce is a guy that I think could go extremely early in the draft. I know obviously character concerns are an issue. The production is not, the athleticism is not. I understand he might not be the best run defender. Don't care.
Okay. Nope. Go get the
Edge
quarterback.
is a position that gets to the quarterback, period.
Yep.
You can supplement with guys that can't get to the quarterback and that can stuff the run. Colts are doing it right now. I think James Pierce can be a extremely productive edge. And paired up with Hutch, you have concerns on both sides of the ball. So
See, this is so annoying because we always say like everyone talks about the NFL. Oh, the NFL is cyclical. You can only pick at the top of the draft so many times because you're always going to get the good players, and the teams at the end of the first round aren't going to get these good players. And then you have someone like Tyler Booker going to the Ravens where he's a perfect fit. And then you have someone like James Pierce Jr., who before this season was a guaranteed top 5 pick in the NFL draft. And for some reason, we're just like, oh no, he's too skinny. What? What? 23% pass rush win rate this year. 1 out of 4 snaps. He beat the guy across from him on a pass play. He's so good, and we're just going to let him go to the Detroit Lions, who are the #1 team in the NFL this year, overall record wise, or second behind the Chiefs. And we're just going to let him go there. It's a position of need. It's an elite player. That's so annoying, but it's how it goes. It's how it goes. And I totally could see him falling here. I could see him out of the first round, which is disgusting.
yeah, it's crazy too, because hypothetically, if you said, "Hey, the Panthers," I'd be like, "I love
Yeah,
that pick. The production
great
is
pick.
there, athleticism is there." I think this guy has one of the widest ranges in this draft, which is
Yes.
scary because besides the run, stopping the run, I don't see a lot of holes in his game. So
No. No. Yeah,
it's not like
last
he's a
year.
small guy either. I don't know. I don't know. So
Yeah, last year he was free at this year around, let's see, 427 of 2024. He was widely considered the #1 overall pick in this upcoming draft, where his 75th percentile position was #1 and 50th was 3, and the lowest you were going to get him was 12. And then after that it was 1, 2, and 13. And all of a sudden, he has an 8 sack season on a Tennessee team and he has what 43 quarterback hurries, and we're like mid to late 20s, man, mid to late 20s. What? Why? Doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me.
Not at
Great
all.
pick. Great pick. Commanders here at pick 29.
Yeah, well, I mean, before the trade, I thought this would be an easy pick, just taking a tackle. But
Yeah.
with that, I think you have to go edge here. And I think that the Commanders are in a unique position to kind of be able to take a risk on someone, and I think that's what they do. Give me Shamar Stewart edge from Texas
Ooh.
A&M.
Okay.
I know we talk a lot about not having production, but this is a guy, if he can get that production, can be an
Yeah.
elite player. He has the traits. And I think uniquely that this team has that ability to kind of take a shot on him. And if it
Yeah.
doesn't pan out, obviously, low end, he's a good, hopefully run stuffer for you. Um, but high end, this guy can be a big difference maker for your defense. And like I said, in the past, maybe would have said, "Hey, take a tackle here." Connerly obviously was a highly mocked pick here before
Yes.
you went and got Tunsil. But I love Shamar Stewart here. I think this is a guy that, hey, take a shot on him. If he hits his ceiling, could be one of the best pass rushers in this draft. So
Yep, 100%. It's just because you watch the Texas A&M tape, and all of their defensive linemen were playing 20 to 30 pounds heavier than normal
yeah, for
because
sure.
they were just going to stop the run. Don't worry about getting the quarterback, just stop the run. So you're betting on Shamar Stewart and his upside with this pick, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. Like people did that with Trayvon Walker, bet on the upside, and clearly it's worked out okay at least this past season with 10 plus sacks. So I don't hate that, especially at pick 29. Washington's got to feel like they're playing with a little house money right now. They've got their young QB. They're feeling good. So go get a star edge rusher. The days of the Washington football team and their defensive line are no more. Where it was, Chase Young and Montez Sweat, and then you got Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen. Those guys are gone or old now. You got to rebuild that defensive line. Shamar Stewart starts that process. I like that pick for them. Buffalo
100%.
Bills, pick 30.
Yeah, this was another tough one for me, honestly. I think this is a very interesting draft, in my opinion. This can go so many different ways.
Yeah.
A guy that I'm also still pretty high on. Give me Trey Amos, corner out of Ole Miss here.
Yeah.
Add to that cornerback room. I know they just signed
Trey
a
White,
corner. Yeah, yeah. I think
whatever.
though this is a guy that I love his physicality. I like a lot of what he does. I think he's a really solid corner. Um, at the end of the day, not a ton of production from, interception standpoints. But the size is there. I think this is a guy that can play smash mouth football, and just get another addition to the defensive side of the ball, which they desperately need. So
Yeah, he had such a sneaky good year this year too. Like people just aren't really talking about it. He's got good size, 6'1", 190 pounds. You love that size and opposing passer rating of 54.5. I mean, that's really solid, man.
right.
Yeah, Trey Amos, I think, is someone who's rapidly finding himself in the first round of most of these mock drafts, and I could see it, and the Bills need it too. I mean, yeah, you brought back Tre'Davious White. That doesn't move the needle at all.
Right.
And then you've got what, Christian Benford back there, and he's the one you're really relying on to be your number one. Rasul Douglas is gone. Like, you've got to have a future plan here, and there
Yeah.
isn't one currently. So Trey Amos, I think, steps right in, and there's your future plan. So I like that pick a lot for them. Kansas City, pick number 31.
Yeah, this is one too. I think you just got to add to that O line. You saw it in the playoffs how bad they were against
Yeah.
the Eagles.
Yep.
Mahomes is an elite quarterback, but he needs to have time. He is not. He's as close to Superman as you're going to get. So give me Josh Connerly here,
Yep. That's what I
tackle
pulled
out of
up.
Oregon. At the end of the day, it just was such a glaring need for them in the Super Bowl that you have. It's bad with the Chiefs. That's what matters the most. Regular
Yeah.
season, I don't care. You're
Doesn't
going to make
matter.
the playoffs. You're going to be probably go have a very deep run in the playoffs. Go get someone that can ensure that that does not happen again, and you can give Mahomes time to work that Mahomes magic. So
Yep, absolutely. And Josh Connerly's very athletic, and they created a hole in their offensive line by trading away Joe Tooney. So you've got to fill that hole. You didn't have a left tackle last year, so your left guard did it. Now you don't have him either. You've got to get somebody that can play these positions, man. And yeah, you signed a backup tackle from 49ers. That doesn't move me at all. Josh Connerly's a freak, probably one of the most athletic offensive linemen in this draft. Great lateral agility, excellent foot speed, really just a good offensive lineman, like just
yeah,
solid. So
I
I
love
like
the
that
first
pick.
step too, coming out and just being able to attack the edges that he's going up against as well. And
Yep.
then he's athletic enough to rebound if he does overstep. So I think he's a solid pick. Honestly, I could see him going a little bit earlier too, kind of pick your
Same.
poison with some of these tackles and offensive linemen, but Chiefs have to address it. So
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And last but not least, Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Who are they taking here?
honestly, I feel like Howie Roseman's Thanos, and he's just adding that last little stone to it. Give me
Yeah.
that Georgia defender. Give me give me Williams edge.
Michael Williams.
Love it. I'm let's be real. It has not gone wrong for them yet to pick a
No.
Georgia defender at just a position of need. I understand got some things to be desired from a pass rush move standpoint and production
Yes.
standpoint, but he's not going to fail you with stopping the run. And like I said, I know at the end of the day, they're just going to have a full defense full of Georgia Bulldogs, and I'm
That's what
okay
they're
with it
trying.
because it seems to be working. So, to me, it's a logical pick with him just coming from Georgia.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yes.
matter
Georgia
doesn't
defender.
matter who it is. Just give me someone from Georgia. Sounds about
Yep.
right. They'll make it work. He's going to be an elite talent.
100%.
So at the end of the day, I think he is a guy too that can come in and make an impact from a run perspective as well. So I think he does bring a lot of great traits to that defense. So
Yeah. Absolutely agree with you there. I think he's going to be if he gets coached up, which if you're going somewhere to be coached up, man, Philadelphia is the spot. He can be excellent. He can be very, very good. He's already day one, probably the best run defending edge rusher in this entire class. Then you
yeah,
teach him how to be a pass rusher. That's what you got to do. You take a guy with these outstanding measurables and he's already got a high floor. Now you got to try and get to that ceiling. And if any team can get him to that ceiling, man, Philadelphia is a team that can do
that's
it.
right.
I like it. I like that pick a lot. I like the first round we got here. I like it. A lot of these picks make a ton of sense, man. And it's so funny. Like I'm sitting here listening to him and I'm just thinking in my head, like, God, that guy could go way earlier. That guy could go way earlier. I really think once you get out of like the upper echelon of prospects, these guys can go anywhere.
For
It's gonna
sure.
be we're gonna have some low scores, I think, in our
Yeah.
mock draft tournament here.
100%.
We're gonna have some low scores because anybody can go
Guaranteed.
anywhere. It's crazy. One guy goes in a different spot, and the domino
It's
effect of
over.
that is just gonna absolutely tank us. We're gonna be
And
negative.
and my thing too with the Eagles here, it's like I could see him taking Omar Norman Lott as well. They just lost Million. Like there's so many
Right.
different ways that this draft could go.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, I think, what I was hoping to do here was kind of go with what made sense for the team fit. Because I think that at the end of the day, this draft does have very few elite players, but it has a
Yes.
lot of good players. So at the end of the day, for those good players to hit their potential and actually become what you hope they can be, they need to have the right fit. And you know what I mean? That I think that's going to be very, very important in this draft. So I think that's what makes
Absolutely.
it interesting. And like you said, hey, I may have gone well, Cam Ward at least 1 for 1. But other than that,
True. I think our first three picks are probably all right. I think
yeah,
Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter. I think we're all gonna start with
fingers
15
crossed.
points and then just hope to not go too far negative.
I will say, when was it? Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith coming out. I may or may not have called both of those in my mock as well.
Yes.
So once again, Howie just he loves the
Loves
Georgia
them.
defenders. So hey, hopefully I at least get one right there too. So
Yeah. Keely Ringo, that draft as well. They took him. I mean, they just go after Georgia
yeah,
players, dude. Yeah, absolutely. So great mock draft. I'm excited to see it. That one, I think you're going to score pretty well. I'm pretty excited to see how we
fingers
do.
crossed.
Draft will be here in 5 days. 5 days. Cannot wait. We're so excited. We will have my final mock draft coming out. I'll probably have it released either Wednesday or Thursday morning of the draft. I'm not sure if we're going to get Addison's, but we will definitely have it written down for the scoring purposes because we got to figure out if we're going to have for winners and losers what we're getting and what we're punished with, which will be fun. We'll figure out something good there. But if you guys aren't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Even with the draft coming to a close here, you still get NFL content year round, baby. We never stop. We don't sleep, okay? We just don't sleep ever. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Comment down below what you think about Bobby's picks and the picks he made for your team. I'm sure you all will. Let him hear it. Absolutely roast him in the comments. He will be more than happy.
Shoulders, I can take it, baby.
He will come back at you in the comments and it'll be great. So that's all we've got for you guys in today's video. We'll see you guys in the next one.